Another 2 minutes will be live, sir.
It's already late. Where's Arjun?
He's looking for universities, right? Maybe he's held up there.
You look so tense. By the way, did you get to choose the university?
No, I'm unable to find a university that meets my requirements.
Whoa. Meet your requirements? What exactly are you looking for?
I'm looking for a place that gives me an opportunity to grow, to excel, to invent, and to innovate. I want to be a part of an institution that paves my way to discover myself and to witness the world moving forward in technology. I want to go to a place that sets a futuristic pattern of education filled with ideas and radical performances. Basically, I want to live my dream.
Dayanand Sagar University. Live the dream.
So we're good to start.
Yes, sir.
A very good morning to all of you. I am Srinivas Shinde, the Chief Marketing Officer at Dayanand Sagar University. I would like to take this opportunity of welcoming all the students who have registered for this exclusive webinar today morning on careers in design. We see a lot of webinars happening these days. People talk about various sectors. People talk about science, people talk about engineering, people talk about commerce. But there's a lot to do when it comes to careers in design. With the kind of technology being made available, it has forced people to look at other career opportunities. And we see that the design industry is also equally growing when it comes to looking at the computer science engineering on one side. Lot and lot of opportunities, lot of unique ways of careers that are being developed today with the design industry progressing with the new age technology. And Dayanand Sagar University has always been one of the fastest to develop, fastest to bring in these kind of innovative technologies, innovative programs for its students. So here we are. In the next 1 hour, we would be talking to the students in terms of how the careers in design will help them shape their careers for a stronger future, for a stronger opportunity in the market. So here we go. I would like to introduce the speakers for today's webinar. I would like to introduce Dr. K.N.B. Murthy sir. Sir is the Professor for Computer Science Engineering and the Vice Chancellor at Dayanand Sagar University, Bangalore. Sir has been the former Vice Chancellor for PES University at Bangalore. Sir holds a bachelor's degree in electrical power engineering and master's degree in electrical engineering from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. and a PhD in computer science and engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Sir has worked as a research specialist in parallel computing at New Mexico State University, US. Sir is currently a member of Karnataka State Higher Education Council and the Academic Senate member of IIIT Dharwad. Sir, a warm welcome to you.
Thank you, sir.
I then would like to introduce an industry veteran, Mr. Arvind Srinivas. He has over 36 years of experience in the IT industry through TCS, working across different stages of an IT software lifecycle in different industry domains such as banking, finance, insurance, education, manufacturing. He's worked in different roles, starting as a junior programmer analyst, progressing to head a multi-country account unit product head before being part of the group level initiative of business excellence, interacting with aerospace, manufacturing, retail, IT, research, hospitality, and chemical companies in the Tata Group. Sir would be touching upon the topic, why design? A warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Shinde. Thank you.
And then the next speaker for the day would be Professor Dr. B.S.C. Ranjan. Sir is a PhD from Institute of Science, Bangalore. Dr. Ranjan has worked on development of a method for creativity assessment during design process in his PhD and development of design model and theory during his MSc Engineering at Center of Product Design and Manufacturing, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. His research interests include knowledge-based engineering, CAD, AI/ML in CAD, design optimization, ontology, design creativity, novelty, and requirement satisfaction assessment, design model and theory, special purpose machine and machine tools. Post PhD, he worked as a project lead and research associate at CPDM IISc Bangalore in industrial project involving global automotive tier 1 supplier. In this project, he worked for 3 years, leading a team of 4 people and a total 6 interns. This project, there were different needs that required working in the fields of AI/ML in CAD, knowledge-based engineering, ontology, and design optimization. Sir would be touching upon the topic, design program and specialization offered at DSU, prerequisites, and the eligibility, and the way forward. A warm welcome to Professor Ranjan.
Thank you, sir.
So we now move on to the first session and would request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to set the context and share his views and guidance to the students on their careers in the design industry. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Cindy. My respected co-panelists, the members of the admission team of Dayanand Sagar University, the students and parents who have joined this webinar. I'm extremely happy to be a part of this webinar to tell you a few aspects which you need to consider before deciding on your higher study pursuit. Whenever we pass out 10+2, I think this dilemma exists. Which course to study? What will be the kind of career that you can choose? And which institute, which program, etc. For this decision to make, you need to consider 4 aspects. The 4 aspects are as follows. The first, the future of work. What will be the future work scenario and what kind of work environment that you can expect 4 years down the line? Because you're going to join a program today. You're going to graduate 4 years down the line. What will be the kind of environment that exists at that point of time? That's one thing you need to consider. Second is, what is the career path that you're looking for? Which career path? The third aspect you need to consider is which program of study. The last aspect you need to consider is which institute to be selected for pursuing your program of study. Let me talk about each of these aspects in a little bit of detail so that you get to know what I'm talking about. Future of work is concerned, some predictions have already been made. Some inputs have already been made public in terms of the future work environment. Several of them have been indicated, but the major ones or the important ones are as follows. The first one, the future of work or the future of environment will have a lot of technology component than what we see today in a similar kind of job environment. That's one thing you need to understand. Technology is going to dominate. Second aspect you need to consider is because of the technology involvement in everything, the jobs that are going to be attempted in the future will be a lot more complex than the normal, because all simple jobs or the routine jobs are going to be automated in the next few years. The next aspect you need to consider is the jobs and job roles existing today may vanish. New job roles, new job titles may come in with a lot more opportunities than what we see today. The job opportunities are plenty. And where these job opportunities? In every walk of life. In every walk of life, we are going to see that. We are going to see that in the mobility, we are going to see that in communication, we are going to see that in computing, we need to see that in environment, energy, any field that you want to talk about. Therefore, the job availabilities are going to be plenty. The jobs are going to be available, are going to be easy for people who have skills, who have abilities to perform in a competitive environment of technology involvement. Therefore, what are those skills required? There are several skills which have been indicated, but 5 skills are considered to be the key skills required. Technical skills, the non-technical required. This non-technical skills also required. We normally call soft skills. As far as technical skills are concerned, the first skill that's required is communication, because you need to explain something to a person who does not know anything about the product or the concept or whatever. Communication is going to be key. Second skill that's required is collaboration skill, where how do you work in a team and how exactly you can contribute as an individual and as a team member. The next is critical thinking. Critical thinking is basically solving a problem by understanding the intricacies of the problem, the involvement of the problem. The next skill that's required, which is again C, is nothing but creativity. How differently can solve the given problem. Then the other C is also important these days. It's called curiosity. You also need to have the curiosity of doing it. Communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, and curiosity. And if at all there's any program which involves all the 5 in equal measure, that is the design program. This is the first aspect you need to consider. The second aspect you need to consider is career path. Career paths are going to be plenty. Some of them are a job in the industry, a job in a government, the research, entrepreneurship, social sector, several job roles or job career paths are possible. But decide which one you like most, which exactly gives you the career path that you have in your mind. Make a list of these, like 1, 2, 3, plan A, B, C. That's what you need to do. That's the second thing, the aspect you need to consider. The third aspect you need to consider is with regard to what is called as program of study. Programs of study, as Shinde was mentioning, you have a program in management, medicine, engineering, then law, several others. Design is another program of study which has come up in the recent past. The specialty of design program is This one program requires all the 5 C's that are mentioned in equal measure. Each one of them are critical for the design program. Where are the opportunities? The design professionals will have opportunities in every sector that I mentioned, be it mobility, be it computing, communication, anything that you're going to talk about. Design has a role to play. Therefore, the design professionals will be the most sought after professionals going forward. What is exactly required? The ability to use all the 5 skills, communication, collaboration, etc., in equal measure, and ensuring that you are going to be something different. You're going to give a product with a different kind of aesthetics. The last aspect you need to consider, which institution? The institution which has understood the NEP, the new education policy quite well, the flexibility of new education policy must be incorporated in the education going forward. Going forward, education is not teaching in the classroom. It's lot beyond that. Whichever university or whichever institute which has less classroom teaching, more of hands-on work is the university which you need to prefer, because this program is more hands-on, more creative kind of a thing. Therefore, it requires a lot more work to be done outside the classroom than inside the classroom. Therefore, it's necessary to look into that aspect. I'm extremely happy that Dayanand Sagar University has understood all the things. The aspects which are the future of work, the skills, then the career paths, the programs of study which suits the mindset and the ability of a student, and also gives an ambience which is far different from any other university. And no other university has made an attempt to give information to the aspirants the way Dayanand Sagar University has been doing. We give you technical things inside out of design program. All the other universities may mention we have a design program. What is there in design program? I think is going to be indicated right now. Why are we doing this? We are doing this to ensure that you understand what is required for success in a design program. If at all you have those components, that interest, choose design program. Is a program which is having a combination of what is called as arts and engineering, arts, and that's all combined together here. There's a differently new kind of mindset required. I'm sure Dayanand Sagar University would provide you all those things that you want. With these few opening remarks, I request my co-panelists to tell you more about design program, to tell you what design is all about, how is it different from other programs of study, and also provide you the amount of hands-on that's been put into the program for you to make an informed decision. If you decide to join Dayanand Sagar University for the design program, you are most welcome, and we will ensure that your careers will be of highest order when you graduate from the portals of this university. With this, I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to be with you this morning. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your views and the guidance to the students. I would now like to request Professor Arvind Srinivas sir to take over and present on the topic why design. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Shinde. Thank you, all my co-panelists. I just give me a minute. I'll share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, good morning, all the students and other wards who are present here, and Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Ranjan and Mr. Shinde. Thank you for the opportunity for giving me to present the reason for why students should choose Bachelor of Design as a career. So let's just start by going with what is the basic difference between engineering and design, because that's generally one confusion that many of us have. And as you can see here in the screen, what you see here is both are 4-year programs, and what you see here on the screen is probably one part of it is mechanical engineering, the other part is electronics, communication, gadgets which you're seeing across. Basically, it's just that the engineers are those who take the concepts and implement them. Engineers are the ones who actualize them, and that involves building and rendering them in physical reality. Then look at then what does the designer do, which you see on the screen on the right hand side. Designers conceptualize. They create a concept based on education, experience, and best practices. They are called plans, blueprints, or designs. I would, however, like to point out that the roles of both designers and engineers are equally important, because designers try to bring innovation or creativity to the table, while engineers make that innovation possible in reality and in larger scale. A lack of either of them or the respective skills would not result in any genuine progress to society. So both these courses are essentially 4-year programs, and we'll look into a little bit more about what design is at a slightly higher level. Design thinking emerged as a particular approach to creatively solving problems way back when many of us were not been born in 1960s, and it has nothing to do with the internet. It's just that the internet came much later and has enabled faster adoption. And internet has been used for, as I said, enabling faster adoption, as simple as that. The discipline has gradually evolved over time, as you can see the rows over here, into dealing with problems of day-to-day life, human-centered design. Example, similar to scissors, which are typically difficult for a left-handed person, or probably the wristwatch, which is generally meant for only the people wearing it on the left hand, or the utensils or the visual appeal, and which has been established over the last 1 decade formally. So it's something which has formally come out as a very visible design thinking as an engineering discipline, or probably as a separate program by itself in the last 1 decade or around that time. So just look at this particular thing. So uncover the secret of knots, which is the problem in real life, which is what all design thinking intends to see. That's it, as simple as that. As you can see in this animation, it's unraveling the secret of knots of design thinking. That's what we'll see in this presentation. So what exactly is design thinking? Design thinking is a process of solving problems by prioritizing the customer's needs above all else. It relies on observing with empathy how people interact with their environment and employs an iterative hands-on approach to creating innovative solutions. Let me just take you through what are the various elements of design. So I'm just taking you through one such diagram where we talk about the design thinking, certain key elements. There are different views on key elements of design thinking, and what I'm presenting to you is just one such. Human-centered design. Human-centered design is nothing but on the ability to understand the person who will be using the thing you're trying to create. And if you try to create something without keeping the human being in mind for whom you're trying to solve the problem, then it will simply not work. It's as simple as that. The second one, creativity. You need to create an open, playful atmosphere for fueling creativity. It allows you to frame the problem in a new way, look at it from a different perspective altogether, and consider a variety of solutions. Iterations. Once you have come out with a solution or a product, it's important to keep challenging and reframing the problem. Test it, iterate it again and over again. And early rounds of testing and feedback helps you to ensure that you're delivering the solutions that people will love. The fourth element is collaboration. Collaboration is something where people with diverse perspectives work together, creating multidisciplinary teams. that encourage different viewpoints and clients co-creation for the product or the service which you're doing. We are not working in any hierarchical structure, but mostly works on a flat hierarchy. And finally, the prototype. A prototype can be used to communicate and test your data or the actual user process, whether it's a sample product or an idea drawn on paper or creating tangible representations of your solutions. It allows for sharing and gathering feedback. And a prototype is part of the iterative process, which was one of the key elements which you saw earlier. How these 5 elements fuse into one single shape for the end user is probably what you will see as we go along in this presentation. So look at this, for example. This is a small case of the left-hand side where a ketchup bottle was planned, and they found that it was not easy to blow out the kitchen. And on the right-hand side, you see a small ketchup bottle, which was done in an inverted manner from Paul Brown for Heinz, where they inverted the whole bottle, make it still stable and still be able to get that. So this designed inverted bottle, standing bottle, made it easy to squeeze the ketchup out, which some of us may not even think, because we are probably using it day in and day out without even bothering to think about it. So we may not be conscious about it. So I'm just trying to bring some awareness about certain day-to-day things, which probably we may be aware or we may not be aware of. Look at this. On the left-hand side, you see a normal potato chips package, which probably can't be so easily reused. It makes noise while opening the packet. The product wastage could be into high broken pieces, which people may not enjoy. Whereas you look at on the right-hand side, very similar to your Lay's package, they designed a round package for easy access to the product, a snack size reduced to enable user finish just in 2 bites. This is what was designed by PepsiCo earlier. And these are certain elements of what we think, or what I would like to call as human-centered thinking. Going on to the next one here. This is another example. Look at this small animation over here. This is typically how a car park in a public road has been designed, where it actually allows the user to cover the car and also do that to keep it quite safe from rain. This is a very simple one. It doesn't occupy space. This is something which has been used in a wide road, which is more than 40 feet wide. And as long as the local corporations don't allow you to park there, then you are definitely authorized to use parking in front of your houses. This is a very simple element of design which has been used here. Or look at this handle. This is, if you notice, the push and the pull side of the door are fitted with the handle. This creates confusion in the brain. The design of a push-pull door is by cognitive bias of the human mind. For our brain, seeing a handle automatically makes us to pull it. Look at this. On the right-hand side, you see the pull with the handle. So this, even if there is no pull word there, the handle, when it is meant, it generally meant to pull it towards your side. Whereas if you see a door without anything, or in this case, specifically push, the intuition of the human mind is push. This may appear something very unconsciously common, but this is again another example of a very well deployed user design thinking in terms of typical door opening as we see here. Or look at this, for example. Humans perceive elements which are appearing similar as part of a unit that has the same function. Bing, which is the Microsoft's search engine, it uses the law of similarity. As you can see in the red colored arrow, circle, oval shaped right one, you can see that it is searching the access button, the voice button, as well as the image button. All 3 of them are put together so that the accessibility buttons are close together, and it helps for easier access. And again, sometimes it's easier to appreciate what's a good design, which I showed you, but one will get an appreciation of what is a bad design only when you see certain things. Look at this example of a small shipboard, which it is easy to see. If you look at it, the first side, it gives you the impression no safety, smoking first. But if you look at it carefully, it actually is meant to mean no smoking, because both of them are the same color, and then safety first. It's just that they decided to put some picture in between the wall, and it gave the impression that no safety and smoking first. It defeats the very purpose. And this is where, while an existing system has been designed, when something else is being enhanced, we need to make sure, as part of design thinking, that don't try to mess it further. Or look at this, what happens. I mean, superhitters is what it is, but the way the S has been shaped in the baseball bat makes it look very bad and conveys a very wrong image. This is definitely not a good design. So want to be creative, or how does one start becoming creative? That's exactly what Professor Ranjan and others are going to be talking about later. But then I'll just give a glimpse of what creativity is all about. Look at this specific staircase in places like Bombay and all, where space is a constraint. On the left-hand side, you see which are drawers made out of every wooden step which is available. Or looking at this undercase of the staircase on how people have maximized the space for keeping a wardrobe, or probably keeping a small wooden shelf for keeping their shoe and other things. These are some very simple examples of how innovation and creativity comes in terms of design. But again, does it mean just merely giving an idea? No. As I said earlier, the whole thing goes between concept to completion. It's not just the concept which you design, you also have to design the completion. So this will involve probably a collaboration with the carpenter, prior to that an engineer, to find out the right load, what is the capacity, and all of those. It's not merely designing and then leaving it aside. And the subsequent part of it is what you'll see in another aspect which you can see here. This is a small do-it-yourself sprinkler using a small Bisleri bottle, which I'm sure may not have occurred to you, to some of you who have not seen this before, but it's a very simple thing. Instead of using a regular hosepipe with a nozzle, the person is actually using a small Bisleri bottle or one of those to make sure that this can be done very creatively. This is what creative thinking is all about. Or looking at this example here in terms of how to easily lift and move the furniture and appliances with this tool, which you can see here on the screen. It's a very simple process, the way one would like to. But again, this calls for a completely different mindset. And this is where, as Professor Murthy said, it calls for a combination of thinking in terms of an arts perspective, an engineering perspective, and a design perspective. And you will actually see one more here, taking this mini magnetic power bank, which actually allows you to keep a small, you don't have to carry any more wires or whatever. You just have to have the battery pack, and then you never run out of battery again. This is again a very simple design process where you can use existing power bank for your own batteries. Or look at this. This is a very classic example of art where you can see how the fingers just go while it's a beautiful piece of art. It also makes sure that the design, it's so designed that the fingers go in between those edges and nothing happens. And this is something which is a very live demonstration with tourist attraction in one of the places in Canada. I just thought this is a beautiful art of designing the whole superstructure and around it to make sure the whole thing happens. Or taking this handheld double strainer, which you can see here. It can help you to drain any drop of water without the pasta or the fruit or the vegetables falling out, and all with just one hand. This is a very simple design. I'll just show that again across. A very simple process where you can see the one inside just curdles across, and it's quite useful for shaping everything. And you don't need to do anything without using both hands. Or look at this example of a Kit Kat advertisement on a bench, or probably on the right hand side, a watch advertisement on the handle of a bus or a metro, which looks very similar. These fit very well into the surrounding. These are something what I call as a creative advertisements, which is also one aspect of design when you get an opportunity to do that. Then I wanted to also talk about biomimicry. Biomimicry, which you see, is nothing but the emulation of models, systems, and elements of nature for the purpose of solving complex human problems. Aeroplanes began to use biomimicry as a concept. Engines looked at birds and mimicked their wing shape and the mode of flying. The left-hand side is the aeroplane. On the right-hand side is an animation of a set of birds which are flying. This is a very classic example where, in a larger scale, a set of aeroplanes have actually used biomimicry to solve the way they can actually go much faster. Or let me show you one more common real-life example which you will see here on this. This is a very interesting concept here. This is an example of a lotus on the right-hand side, as you can see. And there is a company called ISPO GM, which is Germany, which has got a small paint called Lotus Sand Paint. What they have done is very simple. Lotus has actually a self-cleaning micro texture of the lotus, which is used. These microscopic bumps and here allows the water to be trapped. So in spite of all the dust what you have, the water which is trapped gradually starts trickling down and thereby cleanses the dust. So in other words, even when you're having this kind of a paint, which is actually using inspiration from the lotus, the dust never gets accumulated after the rain is over, because even if there is no rain, because it has got those small micro texture ribs which actually allow the water to clean and the dust gets washed off. This is another classic example of in fact, many of these paints like Asian paints and others, they start using Ultima and all. They are all using this inspiration for their own design. Again, what exactly is iteration? We did talk about one of the elements being iteration. Learning by doing is the prototype, and testing is another way. Look at this example. This is an example of a very famous Fitbit. The first version was in 2009, where it was seen tracking the basic activity, more like a clip on the shirt, as you can see the screen, or a t-shirt, where just about 25,000 were sold. Then the first subsequent one, 2011, when the Fitbit released a new version, which included an altimeter, a digital clock, a stopwatch, and all of that, which was all hanging down. And then in 2013 was the first wristwatch which had the fit based, which has got several features which you see right now on the screen. The consistency of the model upgrades is what separated Fitbit from many of its other wearable technology products and kept them really ahead of the curve. These are all classic examples of how design thinking has enabled a product which continues to go along. Prototyping. Prototyping is something which makes you go iterate and then keep going and then coming back all across. And finally, collaboration. Collaboration is a process where you can see here, where two or more people or entities or organizations are working together to complete a task. And it need not necessarily be a human, as you can see here. Collaboration is similar to cooperation. Most collaboration requires leadership, although the form of leadership is mostly social. This is another example of collaboration where you had put all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together around us. So what I'm only suggesting to you is follow your passion and develop a passion for your chosen program of study. If it is design, then you are in for this year right now. So just to conclude, the various aspects of design thinking which you talked about, human-centered collaboration, or probably what we talked about earlier in terms of the shapes which you can see. Design is actually very much around us, right from the shoes which we wear and the computers which we use and the office buildings which we walk every day. Because of that, our brains are trying to make decisions and based more on the looks than on efficiency, functionality, and safety issues. Think of how many times you brought something nice just because it looked nice, although you probably did not need it. The world of design is vast, enticing, and full of color, whether it is humanities or social sciences or bachelor of design. It gives you the ability to make most of your talent and creative vision. So this is what at a very high level design thinking is all about. So primarily it just helps you to unload your creativity and come out with something which is all very day-to-day practical designs. And like the way the Honorable Vice Chancellor mentioned, it's all about problem-based solutions which you will learn in the 4-year course at Dayanand Sagar University. Thank you very much and stay safe and keep the distance.
Thank you so much, sir. A detailed presentation to students to understand how and why designing. We would now like to move on to our next session. I would like to invite Professor Ranjan sir, and sir will be talking about the program at DSU, the curriculum, the opportunities, the specializations. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'll start.
Can do a screen sharing, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. My screen shared, sir.
Yeah.
This one. So I'll try to keep this short and to the point. So I'll be presenting on briefly on the design program at Dayanand Sagar University that we are beginning now. So the content would be some brief about the design program, the specialization that are offered here, what are the prospects for the students after completing the design program here, and what is the eligibility to join the design program in Dayanand Sagar University. So I think this website has already been now it has been added to this. So a lot of contents that I'll be presenting, it will be available from the website as well. So you can all go back and read about it in more detail. So design program, why do we need to start this? As already Professor and Srinivas sir has already mentioned. So design has assumed paramount importance because of increasing customer expectations, reduction in the availability of resources, very cutthroat competition, and technology that is improving every day. And also it spans across wide range of applications from healthcare to mobility design, application development and software to knowledge management, communication to lifestyle, and from agriculture to space technology as well. So design is involved in every aspect, every application that would be available. And very important thing about design is that it aims at improving human life and driving business. That makes it very important. So this vast expanse of design has opened up a plethora of opportunity for designers. So you can become design researchers, you can become entrepreneurs, that is, you can start your own companies, you can become an interaction designer or a product designer or UI modeler, you can become a CAD modeler, or you can become prototype developer, and there are a lot more opportunities that is available. So this is an exciting new domain that has lured huge amount of investments from entrepreneurs to companies and to nations as well. So one of the groups, the Design Council, studied 63 portfolios of companies that traded on the Financial Times Stock Exchange, and they discovered that the design, whichever companies that put the emphasis on design, they did way better than the ones that they didn't. You can see the red line here that keeps increasing. They have almost outperformed in almost every aspect. So coming to the design program at the university, we have developed a course structure for the design program here, which would include the foundation courses that would be that is necessary, and the main importance has been placed upon the projects, that is hands-on skills that would be required as soon as you join industry. So there are foundation courses, and then there will be core courses, and from third year onwards you'll also have elective courses, and in the final year you have an internship project and a major project as well. And there will also be liberal studies courses that will be alongside the foundation and the core courses that are present in the course structure. So there are two different specializations that we'll be starting with. One is the product design and the user interface and user experience design. Basically, as we mentioned, the number of courses, the foundation and the core courses, they'll have micro projects, project-based courses, and there are also research-based courses. This will be common in both the specializations, not the common courses. The courses will have projects, and the research-based courses will also be available. And then you'll also be introduced to design management under product design, and UX management, user experience management, and UI UX design, and so on. So there are, you can see that both of them have different courses when you go forward. And then there is also courses on arts and humanities and courses on liberal studies. Internship and major project, again, it will be there. Whichever is relevant to each of the specialization, such major projects and internships will be carried. And the important part of this is foundation courses will be common across both the specialization. There will be choice-based credit systems. And then internships will be at either industries or overseas research labs for at least 3 months. It would be made mandatory. And then, as I already mentioned, the curriculum puts major thrust on projects. So there is a major project which is common across all the programs. But apart from that, you'll also have 5 mini projects, one research project, one micro project. For each course, you'll be doing micro projects within the course. And then research-based and project-based courses are offered. Assessment is continuous. Performance evaluation will be continuous throughout throughout all the 4 years. And classroom teaching, apart from the classroom teaching and the labs, you'll also have guest lectures and workshops that will be scheduled every month. And also industry visits will also be scheduled every semester, so that you can understand what would be what is currently going on in industry. So the curriculum, this design of this curriculum has been carried out by taking the holistic view of the design, following the state-of-the-art market and research trends that is there, and it is project-driven to ensure students creatively apply the knowledge and acquire the skills that are necessary for their future career. They'll be also guided and encouraged to patent the projects that they would carry out while going forward. And then, as I already mentioned, it is choice-based credit system, and this will help students in pursuing their interests, what they want to do. And then inclusion of research-based and project-based provides a research orientation, and if students are interested in continuing to pursue research as a career, that will also be aided here because of the curriculum that has been designed. And major emphasis will be provided on the internship to ensure that students understand what is the scenario at that time of the when they are graduating out. That's why the internship will be in the final year. And then very important part that everyone needs to note here is that this particular design program, it has been developed in an ecosystem that has facilities from engineering disciplines as well. So you will be able to get aid from the other disciplines here. So mechanical engineering, there is aero department here, and then there is computer science department. All of these disciplines are there, and they would be helping us in carrying out our courses as well. There is many facilities that have been already they are readily available at the Anand Sagar University. So even the curriculum has been designed keeping those things in mind as well. And then existence of the design ecosystem, due to the large number of manufacturing and software firms, we are situated in such a place that in Bangalore we have large number of companies that would help us in carrying out our projects as well. So coming to the prospects, so there are two specializations as I mentioned. Under product design, you can go to further studies, same in UX design, or you can become a design researcher or UX researcher. Me being from Indian Institute of Science, I put that in the top, but it depends on individual this one. So you can also go ahead and become a product designer or an UI UX designer or interaction designer. Again, in product design, you can become an industrial designer or a freelancer or an entrepreneur, or you can only focus on one particular skill and go with that. You can become a modeler, particularly CAD modeler or CAE modeler, that is computer engineering modeler, and so on. Under UI UX design, you can go ahead and continue as interaction designer, web designer, game designer. Again, freelancer and entrepreneur, you can continue with that as well if you are interested, and then graphic designer as well. So these are some of the prospects as you go forward. And just to give an idea of what is UX designer and what is the prospects of UX designers over next few years, this is a graph that shows number of user experience professionals in the world who are there in the past, and what would be the requirement as we move forward in the time. Right now we are at 2020, and as you can see at 2020 there is nearly 10 lakh designers, 10 lakh UX professionals, but going forward by 2030 to 2040 that will increase a lot more. So the career prospects of a UI/UX designer is dramatically increasing, and this is a linear scale, and you can see this is a logarithmic scale that has been given, and you can see how steeply it increases as we move forward in time over the next few years. And what is the eligibility that is expected here? Students with a minimum of 50% in class 12 from science, commerce, or arts and humanities. So any of the students from any of these things, any of these backgrounds can apply for the B.Des program here. Thank you. And any questions? Hello.
Sir, we will take it up through the Q&A box.
Yes.
We've already given the facility to the students to type in their queries.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Let's see if there are any queries coming in. In the meantime, I would just share with the students the opportunity going forward for the admissions. Could you stop your screen sharing? So dear students, if you have any queries, you can always put in your questions through the Q&A box, and we'll be happy to address your questions with the help of our speakers, our distinguished speakers who are there today. Coming to the admissions activity, yes, the admissions are currently open. As you are aware that all the results for the various boards, be it CBSE, be it State Board, be it ICSE, all of them are available, and you know that everybody is passed. Everybody is passed, so there's a rush for various programs, and so is also there is a rush for the B.Design program. However, there are admissions available for students who are looking at Dayanand Sagar University as one of their preferred choice for building their career in the design program. We also will be having the Dayanand Sagar aptitude test. It's a design aptitude test for the students, and that will be on the 25th of August. I would request all of the students to fill in their applications on the website dsu.edu.in, and our career advisors will get in touch with you. They will guide you, and this is going to be a home-based proctored test, and the test can be taken by the student at the convenience of their house, from their house, and the results will be announced in the next 2 days. So 25th August is the date for the DSET. Keep this in mind, and we would like to welcome you to fill up the applications, and looking forward to having you as a part of the DSU family. We definitely see some questions coming in, but I think that are also already been answered. So if there are no questions, I would like to thank all the distinguished speakers. I'd like to thank the students and the organizers for this wonderful 1.5 hour time to be spent with all the students to share the opportunity of careers in design and how it will help the students to a strong and a very fabulous career going forward. Thank you so much. Stay safe, and we look forward to your queries. We look forward to your call to help you to seek admissions into Dayanand Sagar University. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Shinde.
Thank you, sir.